Morning guys, and welcome to the third math lesson of this week. Now you might have noticed that my camera is much clearer this time. I finally managed to get a camera that's got a better picture and I don't look like I'm from a black and white film, so hopefully that's better for you all. So in this lesson, like with the last few math lessons this week, you will need a pencil or something to write with, or a pen or something. You will need an exercise book or something to write on, and like I said, a rubber or a ruler if you have them at home, okay? Now, what I would like you to do is I would actually like you to pause me here, and I would like you to write the date and the WALT. So just because you're not in school doesn't mean we're not doing the same thing. So obviously if you were in school, you'd be writing the date and WALT before every lesson. So you're going to do the same here. So write the date and WALT, and then you're going to have a go at the starter. It's much easier for us as teachers as well with marking your work, because you will send so much work in. We want to be able to see exactly what piece of work it is, and it's much easier if you have the date and WALT there. So make sure you have your date and WALT written on this piece, on your piece of work, and pause me here and have a go at the starter. Now if you finish your starter, that's fantastic, well done. We're going to go through the answers now. Now I was practicing our 7 times tables. Now that is the times table that we are practicing in school, so make sure that you practice that at home as well, so we're all up to date when you come back to school, hopefully soon. So let's go through together. I won't write them down because you know that I'm rubbish at writing on this PowerPoint, but 1 times 7 is 7, 2 times 7 is 14, 3 times 7 is 21, 4 times 7 is 28, 5 times 7 is 35, 6 times 7 is 42, 7 times 7 is 49, 8 times 7 is 56, 9 times 7 is 63, 10 times 7 is 70, 11 times 7 is 77, and 12 times 7 is 84. So well done if you got those right. Remember to keep practicing your times tables. Now, our WALT today is to divide. So for the first 2 lessons of this week, we've just done a little bit of recap on multiplication, just because the children in school were doing that last week, whereas last week you actually went on to division. So I just wanted to recap with division, because I want us to just remember why we divide. Sometimes we get you to do things we don't actually explain to you what that actually means. So division is actually the inverse of multiplication. Inverse means the opposite. Okay, so we spoke about this with addition and subtraction. They are the inverse of each other because they are the opposite, and it's the exact same with division and multiplication. They are the opposite of each other. Now when we multiply, we make the numbers bigger. We know when we're multiplying, the answer is always going to be bigger than the 2 numbers that we're multiplying. However, with division, it's slightly different. With division, we are sharing things into equal parts. So we have our total, we have our amount that we start with, and obviously that's our first number. And we want to divide it then into whatever the second number is asking us to, and that's dividing and sharing into equal parts. Okay, so a synonym for division would be to share. So here's an example. If I had 12 sweets and I wanted to share them between 4 of my friends, the sum that I would be doing would be 12 divided by 4. So I'd have my 12 sweets here, and I'd be dividing those sweets between 4 of my friends. Okay, so throughout your school life, you would have been taught division in lots of different ways. You would have had lots of different methods of how to teach it. So I'm just going to recap those now just so we remember. So I've got my number sentence up on the screen here. I've got 24 divided by 6. And what I'm going to do is just go through lots of different methods that you would know so far. Some of them you might think, oh, I can't remember doing that one. And some you might think, oh, yeah, I definitely remember doing that in Key Stage 1. So the island method, you might instantly know what this one is, or you might have called it something slightly different. Your teacher might have called it something different. Now the island method is basically where you think, right, I'm doing 24 divided by 6. So I draw out 6 islands, 1, 2, 3, or 6 circles, 4, 5, oh my circles are rubbish, 6, and then I divide 24 between those 6 circles or islands, and I do that with dots usually. So I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, oops, whoops, sorry, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and I do that all the way up till I get to 24. Then when I've done that, I count up how many dots are in one island, and that's my answer. Okay, now the next method that you would know is I put counting in multiples. So when I look at the number sentence 24 divided by 6, I know in my head I can work out the answer because I can work out how many 6's go into 24, because I know that 24 is a multiple of 6. Okay, so if I do my 6 times table, 6, 12, 18, 24, I know that 24 divided by 6 will be 4, because 6 goes into 24 4 times. So my answer will be 4. Okay, another method is partitioning. Now that's a method that I taught the class yesterday, and Mr. Lakin taught them on Monday. You guys probably did that last week, is where you obviously have your part whole model. That method's slightly tricky, and this is actually the first time I've seen that method. But that method leads us quite nicely onto the bus stop method. And these two methods here, partitioning and bus stop, are for when we're using bigger numbers. Okay, if you're trying to divide the number 58 between 3, you don't want to be drawing out 3 islands and sharing 58 dots between those 3 islands. And also, then you don't want to be doing your 3 times table all the way up to 58. There's more efficient ways to do that. So that's why they've introduced these methods. Now, we're going to focus on the bus stop method. Okay, now year 5s, you definitely did this last year and the year before. Year 4s, you should have done it last year, but I don't know whether the school closures might have affected that. So just have a watch, and hopefully it might remind you. If it doesn't, don't worry so much. You have plenty of time to practice. Now let's have a look. So we've got 2 number sentences here. Now I'm going to show you exactly how to use the bus stop method. Okay, so if we had 36, we want to divide it by 3. I draw up my bus stop here. Now my bus stop, oh, that's a rubbish bus shelter. Let me draw that one a little bit better. Now, my bus stop or my bus shelter looks a little bit like one. We've got a side here, and we draw across here. And I put my larger number, my 36, my number at the start, into my bus stop. Oh, it's not letting me write. That's brilliant. There we are. 36. And then I do my smaller number on the side. Now, over at the top, I'm going to draw my 10s and my 1s just so I can remind myself about my place value. It's really important that we do that. Now, I want to know, the first thing I want to work out is how many 3s go in to 3, okay? Now, remember, this is actually 30, 3 10s. But obviously, it's a little bit easier if we work out how many 3s go into 3. So if I was to do my 3 times table, 3, how many 3s go into 3? Just the 1. So I put my 1 up here. Now, remember, what we were actually doing then was how many 3s go into 30, and 10 3s go into 30. So we've actually put 10 up there. Obviously, it's a little bit easier if you're thinking that we've just done how many 3s go into 3. Now, we need to work out how many 3s go into 6. So I need to do my 3 times table until I get to 6. 3, 6, 2. So 36 divided by 3 would be 12. Nice and easy. So let's have a go at the second one. 62 divided by 2. We're going to lay it out the exact same way. Now, if you want to challenge yourself, you can pause me here and you can have a go. Or you can write this down and do it alongside me. It's much easier to learn if you're doing it with me. So if you want to have a go, of course you can. So I put my 62 here. I put my 2 on the outside. I put my 10s and my 1s just to help me with my place value. And then let's have a go. So let's work out how many 2s go into 6. Now, obviously, remember, it is how many 2s go into 60, but it's easier to work out how many 2s go into 6. So let's do our 2 times table. 2, 4, 6. So we've got 3. But obviously, how many 2s go into 60 will actually be 30. So we put that there. It's 3 10s. Now, let's work out how many 2s go into 2. Let's do our 2 times table. 2. So 1. So 62 divided by 2 would be 31. Now, hopefully you're thinking, oh, that's easy. And it is. The method is straightforward. But obviously it's not going to always be that easy. So let's have a look at these and see how these are slightly different. So we've got 48 divided by 3. So I'm going to draw my bus stop method out just like usual. I'm going to do all the same things. I'm going to put my 48 in here. Oops. I'm going to put my 3 on the outside. Oh, sorry. I'm still no better at writing with the pen. I'm going to put my 3 on the outside. And I'm going to do my 10s and 1s up here. And the first thing I'm going to do is work out how many 3s go into 4, or how many 3s go into 40. Now, this one's trickier. Hopefully you've clocked this straight away. 3 doesn't perfectly go in to 4. Okay? We have some left over. So the way I like to do this is I'm going to draw out my 4 dots. I'm going to draw out 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I want to know how many 3s go into that 4. So I'm going to circle 3. Have I got enough dots to circle another 3? No, I haven't. So I know that 1 3 goes into 4, but I have 1 left over. So I carry that one over to this number here. Now remember, these were actually 10s. So we're working out how many 3s go into 40. We know that 10 3s go into 40, but we actually have a 10 left over. Okay, so we carry that over and that then becomes 18. Now we want to work out how many 3s go into 18. So let's do our 3 times table. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Okay, so then I put my 6 up here, and I know that 48 divided by 3 is 16. So this is why it's really important that you know your times tables, because I knew that 18 was definitely in the 3 times table, so I didn't have to draw 18 dots and circle the 3. You need to do that to help you, of course you can, but that's why it's really, really helpful that we know our times tables. Now let's have another go with 85 divided by 5. So I'm going to draw up my bus stop method just like I have done before. If you want to challenge yourself, pause me here and have a go, or get your pencil ready and write this out alongside me, okay? So you can do it with me and you can actually have the action of doing it, because it really, really helps. We could do it together. So I'm going to do my 10s and 1s up here. So if you need to, you could pause me and you can write this out just to help you. Okay, so we want to know, first of all, how many 5s go into 8, or how many 5s go into 80. So let's draw out our 8 dots. I know that obviously 5 doesn't go into 8 rounded. So look, 5, 10, oh, I know it doesn't go into 8. So I'm going to draw out my 8 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now I need to circle my 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I circle 5. So I know that 1, 5 definitely goes into 8, but I've got a few remaining. So I've got these 3 remaining here. So I put my 3 that I left over, I carry them over. Now remember, we're actually working out how many 5s go into 80. So we know that we've got 10 5s that go into 80. Oh, sorry, one goes into 80 here, and then we have our 30 remaining. Okay, so let's work out how many 5s go into 35. Okay, so we'll do our 5 times table. The number ends in 5, so I know it's going to be in the 5 times table. Remember, if it's in the 5 times table, if it ends in 5 or 0. Let's do 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. You probably knew instantly that it was going to be 7. So we know that 85 divided by 5 is 17. Now, for some of you, you might not need to draw the dots out. You might know in your head, oh, I know that 5 goes into 8 once, and I know that 3 is going to be left over. So if you don't need to do that, then you don't. But for some, it's nice to do it visually. So if you prefer to do that, then obviously do that to help you, okay? Now, finally, let's have a look at what this might be like with dividing a 3-digit by a 1-digit number. Okay, we'll do this one over here. So 459. Oh, not drawn that very well. 459 divided by 9. Okay, then I'm going to draw up my place value. Here I need to add in 100. 100, 10s and 1s. And the same process applies. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. Now this one's slightly trickier. If this confuses you, don't worry, because you don't have to do anything that's this hard if you find this a bit too tricky. Okay, but this one's just for those that want to just have a little bit more of a challenge. Okay, so the same thing applies. Now we work out how many 9s go into 4. Now obviously no 9s go into 4, do they? So we cross that one out and we carry that one over to the next column. Okay, then we can work out how many 9s go into 45. Okay, so let's work out. I know that we're obviously not going to be able to get a full number. We're going to have some remaining, but let's work it out. So we go 9, 18, 27, 36, 45. Oh, I was wrong. So that's me predicting then and estimating. Oh, I know it's probably not going to go in. Actually, it did. So look, maybe you knew that straight away, but 9, 18, 27, 36, 45. And it actually does go in 5 times nice and easily. We have no remainders. Okay, so you've got to be really careful. Although you might predict, oh, that's definitely not in the times table, it might shock you. So make sure you definitely count in your times tables to try and work it out. Okay, then we need to work out, finally, how many 9s go into 9. 9, just the one. So 459 divided by 9 is 51. So don't get yourselves confused or worked up just because it doesn't go into that number. If it doesn't, we just carry it on to our next column. Okay, so I've got some steps to success here. Now these are just going to talk you through, because obviously there's quite a lot of processes to this. So if you ever feel confused, just go back and rewatch this to help you. So hopefully it makes sense. I'm going to move this one over here. Okay, so let me go through them. So the steps to success are, number 1, it says put your larger number in your bus stop and your smaller one outside. So along here on this side, I've got a number sentence. I've got 64 divided by 4, and I've got a different kind of picture here to show you what to do for each steps to success. So make sure you put your larger number in the bus stop and then your smallest one outside. Even draw your 10s and your 1s to help you if you want to. Okay, if you think that's going to be helpful to you, then make sure you draw out your 10s and your 1s. Okay, now number 2, see how many times the smaller number goes into the first number, just like we have here. Okay, so they've seen how many times 4 goes into 6, and it says write the amount above the bus stop. So they've done it here, draw dots to help you. So they've worked out that 4 doesn't go into 6 completely. They've drawn out 6 dots, circled 4. We know that 1 lot of 4 goes into 6. However, we've got 2 remaining. So then we carry that 2 over, and then we have to work out how many. It says if you have any remainders, don't forget to carry them over to the next number, just like we have here. And then it says repeat until you're finished. So then we work out how many 4s go into 24. Now we know that 6 4s go into 24. We've worked that out here. So the answer is 16. Okay? So what I would like you to do now is have a go. This is your task. Have a go at either A, B, or C. Now, just like always, if you're unsure, start with A. Now, A is nice and straightforward and shouldn't have any remainders. So if you just want to have a go at practicing the bus stop method without any remainders or crossing out or anything like that, then start with A. Now, B is slightly trickier. Mr. Saunders has been quite unkind to you with this task. Go straight into 3 digits, okay? So it's definitely doable though. You can definitely do it, so you can have a go, but obviously it goes straight into 3 digits. So if you do a few on A and find them too easy, go on to B. And then it's the same with C as well. If you start on B and then you go on to C, C's tricky because it's 4 digits divided by 1. Okay, but if you're up for the challenge, have a go. Like always, if you start with C, find it too hard, go back with B. Same with B. If you find it too hard, go back to A. If you think that going straight into 3 digits was too tricky, don't worry. Maybe tomorrow we can recap that and you can have another go at doing 2 digits. But like I said, if you're finding it a little bit too tricky, maybe start on A and then you can progress on to B. Okay, so you can pause me here, have a go at A, B, or C. Remember to send your pictures in. There is a challenge here if you want to have a go at that. So just make sure you tell me in your work that you've done the challenge, write challenge like we do in our maths books. And what you need to do is you need to go through this bus stop method and spot the mistakes. Okay, now some people choose to do this because they put a 0 here. That isn't wrong. Okay, I could have done that. I didn't do that. But because look, no 3s go into 2, so they put a 0 here and then they carried that over. Okay, so see where they've gone wrong. If you prefer to put 0, if that number doesn't go into that number, then you can. It's entirely up to you. Or you could just leave it blank like I did. It's the same thing. A 0 is just a placeholder, remember, okay? Right, so I'll go back. Have a go at A, B, or C. Make sure you send the picture. If you found it too tricky, just let me know and maybe we can have another go at doing some 2-digit numbers instead, okay? Best of luck, and remember to send your pictures in when you are done. Oh, sorry, I can't even. Oops.